Turn you up for a little bit, I guess. Of course. Now don't look at behind me because what's new? It's a mess, right? Okay, so before I get started, I wanted to remind everybody, if you haven't checked out Prima's Facebook page already, we have 5 spots available. We're doing a giveaway of 5-day spots for the make and takes at the Art Venture. So make sure you go over to the Facebook page and check out that giveaway. We'll make sure to bump it up towards the top of the page so you know exactly where it's at. And if you haven't heard of the Art Venture already, make sure that you visit Prima's Facebook page as well for that. We have a brand new video up kind of showing you the location and some of the projects and all of the information that you'd need to find out about the event. And that is going to be in January, the 18th through the 20th. And that's in Palm Springs or Desert Springs, California. It's beautiful, beautiful location. Even if it's just a weekend away from the family and you want to sit out by the pool, hey, not a better place to do it than there. So make sure you check that out. I know Carrie will probably leave links as well, and we'll make sure you get all the information at the end of the class. So tonight, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to create this fun little wall hanging for the holidays. And you could keep it as for yourself, or you could give it to somebody for a gift. It's a very easy project to do. And it's a really great way to use up some of your leftover flowers that I'm going to show you how you can alter them to make them look uniform. I'm also going to show you kind of in a more shabby chic way before we get into the color. If you like that, if you prefer that look more, we'll do that first, and then I'll add the color on top. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let me point the camera down. Sorry if I get kind of choky, froggy. I've been fighting a cold for a few days, actually a couple months now. So I apologize. Trying to get you guys. Can you hear me okay? Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. So to start off the project, the background is a stretched burlap. You can see it's stretched burlap frame. And these I get from Canvas Corp. You've probably all heard of them. They're a really great source for base materials like the burlap and things like of that nature. So they come in a few sizes. This is an 8x8. This is a 10x10. I'm going to use the 10x10 since it's the same size, but you can use any size and alter this project to any size surface you have available. So this idea and techniques can be used on many different surfaces. So let's put the finished one aside. I'm going to go over a few of the items you're going to need so that you're prepared before you start the video later on. Few of the things that I used we're going to be using the fiber paste, of course, because you know I love myself some fiber paste. And then we're going to be using a few different embossing powders. One is the Enamels. It's a limited Jack Frost from Shimmer's Paints. And then another one is from Judykins. It's an embossing powder. It's iridescent sparkle, but any white, flaky, iridescent embossing powder will work. So those are the two I used. Now the other two paints that I'm using is in Shimmer, or the Blings by Shimmer's Paints in Gold Glimmer, and also the Shimmers in Candlelight. They're really soft white or cream colored paints, and these are going to help us later on adhere the embossing powder onto our Prima flowers. So I'm also using some paints. It's Luminaire by Jacquard. It's a green, emerald green paint. It's a really heavy base paint, so if you use colored flowers to do this technique with, this will give it a really nice cover. It's got a base to it, so it's heavier and thicker than your regular acrylic paint. And then also I'm going to be using the pearlescent FW liquid acrylics. It's like an ink, but it has an iridescence to it. And then I'm going to be using also the Shimmers Paints Vibes. I'm going to be taking pieces from my little collection of Prima flowers. I always have like 3 or 4 odds and ends that show up or get left behind. So I figured this is a really nice way to kind of use those up and get them out of the way for the new stuff to come in, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that. Oh, and also, you're going to want a Sharpie paint pen. I think these, for this technique on the burlap, this one would work best. And then we're also going to fill in with an acrylic paint pen as well. So we will go over those later. So to start, what we do is we are going to take our flowers and kind of just place them. I made a tree design. You can make a wreath pattern as well, or any other type of design you'd prefer to use. But I'm going to go ahead and do the tree again. I have these cool felt flowers. These would make a really nice background. See how I kind of made my base out of leaves. You could use the paper leaves. I have a few here. Or you could use the felt ones. Either one, the paint's going to stick to these. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down first and then layer on top of those our different layers of flowers and trinkets. So let's go ahead and put those down first. Is everybody ready for Christmas? I hope at least somebody is, because I am not. I still have to get a tree. We decided not to pull our fake one down this year and to buy a real one. And I'm just lagging really bad on that this year. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the scissors and cut the little stems, because we don't really need the stems on these felt ones for this project. I'll save the stems for another project, because these are nice paper wrapped stems, so they could definitely be reused. Let's just kind of make a little tray. Kind of like that. I'll probably give this as a gift. My poor mom gets stuck with all my handmade goodies. Not sure if she likes them, but she gets them. Alright. Let's see. Doesn't matter if the middle's full, because we're going to be covering that up with flowers. So it's not a big deal. Let's bring these up a little bit like that. Let's see. That's kind of a tree, yeah? My brain's kind of in La La Land today, if you couldn't tell. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and take our adhesive. Let me reach over to grab that. Excuse my arm. Okay. Let's see if my glue cooperates. Come on. Let me get another bottle, guys. This is my little travel case. Don't you love this thing? Okay, let's find the glue. That's not it. Ta-da! This is my Mary Poppins tube of goodies. Alright, let's try this one. I know this one works because I used it not too long ago. Come on. I love burlap. I love the texture and the warm feel it gives, especially during the holidays. It's just a really fun texture to work with, and it just feels homey and comfy cozy. I know you think burlap rough, not very comfy cozy, but it just gives that home feel to it. Alright, we're just going to glue those down. Let's start at the bottom. You don't need a lot of glue, because the burlap is textured, it will hold whatever liquid adhesive you put on it. So you don't need a whole lot. Just enough to kind of tack it there. Plus, once our paints are all on top of it, that will help hold all of it together as well. So, not a problem. Thanks, Sue. I love when people understand where I'm coming from. Ugh. Gotta make a bigger hole. I'd use hot glue, but I'm afraid of hot glue. I'm not gonna lie. I never have good luck with it. I end up burning myself or stuff falls off. So I stick with my beautiful fabric tack. Alright. So, if you guys decorate for Christmas, what color schemes are you like? Traditional color scheme? Do you like the bright and funky color schemes? Do you like the gold and silver? What do you guys prefer? I'm kind of a gold and red type of person. I like the antique gold and the deep reds, not burgundy, but like a deep, heavy red color. It just screams Christmas. All right, so we have our backdrop already. So now what we could do is we could take some of our larger flowers. I had that little straggler. Where did he go? Muffin tops. Haha! I'm going to smack that boy for making me say that. Okay, so we're going to put those down. And these are kind of just collaging these flowers together. Layering, filling in open spots. Let's use the lighter color ones. We just want to fill in the little bits and pieces. Yeah, the frame, again, the frame is by Canvas Corp. It's a already stretched canvas. So you could get these, many of your canvas or your supply stores or art supply stores carries Canvas Corp. So you may want to check your local Michaels. I know they carry some of it. You can stretch them yourself. Burlap's not that difficult to work with. So you can always check into that. Trying to check my little goodies for a few more flowers. Good. I want to give you guys ideas to use up what you have so you can make room for all the new stuff coming out. Because I know a lot of us really love the new stuff. But we always run out of room to where to put them. All right. So there's a good amount. We could always add more. We could always add our little gems, especially the shabby chic would look really pretty with some of Marion's vintage trinkets. I hoarded these ones, so I'll put a few of them here and there. Plus, if you don't like the gems, but you like the texture of them, the paints that we're going to be using later on for the colorful part of it will help kind of disguise the shine of that. All right. I think that's a pretty good amount of flowers. What do you think? More or good? Alrighty. Oh, now, of course, see? I find the big one. You love how that happens? When you think you're done. Yeah, I like the little guys. I'm not messing with them. Alright, so let's glue this second layer down. Da, da, da. It's been raining in California today. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't. I know that's crazy, but I don't like the sunshine. Okay. Yeah. You guys are going to die when you see the new stuff coming out. CHA this year, I'm telling you. I'm not lying. Prima gets better and better every year. All right. There is some really cool stuff. Can't share with you yet, but we will be soon. Believe me, we have some goodies coming your way. You'll want to make sure to keep your eye out on Prima's Facebook page, their fan page. If you're not already a follower there, you want to, because we're going to be sharing a lot of sneak peeks and everything. We're going to be sharing a lot of fun stuff coming up. All right. I think that's pretty good. You know what? I'm going to make a little cool star. Aw, bummer. I used those already. Oh, let me see if I have any more of my gems, you guys, because I have a little cool idea now. Searching. Oh no. Searching. Still searching. Oh, bugger. Okay, that idea didn't work. Okay, we're going to do these instead. Okay, I'm going to use one of the light bulbs. Let's use love. Yeah. And I'm going to put this little guy right up top. Okay, and then we're done with gluing, I promise. You're like, whatever. Here, let's move. Oop. You can stay there. We're going to move this guy up here to flank our little light bulb. So we have like a little star on the tree. Oh, let's put this little guy down here to make up for the lost. Okay, let me look at it. I think we need a couple more flowers. Or buttons. Buttons, yeah. Who does not like buttons, right? I love me buttons. Okay. Like I said, it is a really great way to use some of those random little bits and pieces that are kind of taking up too much room. And you can layer upon layer upon layer this stuff. I could keep going for days adding bits and pieces, but we only have so long to do this class. Alrighty, so here's our base. Alrighty. Alright, so we have this nice base going. Trying to fit it all in. Sorry, guys. Come on. Alright. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to put my fabric tack aside. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my shimmers. You can use either one. It's going to pretty much be the same thing. I'm going to use the shimmers and candlelight. Shake it up. Make sure I get all the nice pretties moved around. I'm going to grab a paintbrush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly paint over the flowers and the leaves. Doesn't have to be anything special. Oh my. I just remembered that I don't have my heat gun. It was used at a retreat last weekend, a couple weekends ago, and it kind of got forgotten. So let me grab my little assistant to have her grab my hairdryer. Okay. All right, so we have our little paint here and there, and what this is going to do is this is going to act as our adhesive for our embossing powders. Let me grab my hairdryer. Carly, Carly, Carly. Grab my hairdryer out of the bathroom. Okay. Hurry. All right. So while she's grabbing that, I am going to go ahead and put our powder down. The blings, the shimmers, the shimmer color is Candlelight, and the blings color is Gold Glimmer. It's a little darker than the Candlelight is. It's got a little more yellow tone to it. See if I can show you the two colors. I mean, it's very subtle. You could barely tell the difference between the two, but there is a subtle difference. The blings has more of a sparkle. The shimmers has more of an iridescent finish to it. It's kind of the two different textures in the paint. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the enamels before our paint dries, our enamels in Jack Frost. And this stuff has a lot of different texture in it. It has some chunky stuff. It has big flakes of glitter. It has really fine dust embossing powder. And what I'm going to do, the H2Os don't have, thank you, Carly. The H2Os don't have the base. These are more of an acrylic base. The H2Os are more of almost a watercolor type paint, I believe. I don't use them all the time, so I couldn't really give you an exact, but somebody else could possibly let you know about that. Out. Okay, let me plug in the hair dryer without unplugging myself. Alrighty. Alright. So I'm just going to shake some of this on top. And what this is doing is just kind of tying all of our flowers together. And again, this is kind of the shabby or chic look. It's a nice, soft, pretty white. And then we'll get into the color, because everybody has a different preference of what they like to use. So I'd like to give everybody that option. All right. So I'm not going to tap it off yet. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kind of go through and press down my embossing powder so that those larger pieces, have a chance to stick to the paint before I go and blow it all away. So we're just kind of going through, tapping it down. And this stuff has a lot of different texture to it, so I'm going to have different layers, which is really cool. And on this, what I'm going to do, instead of blowing downwards, I'm going to blow from the bottom side up to kind of heat the leaves and the flowers so that some of that embossing powder has a chance to heat and set before I go to the top and blow all of my embossing powder away. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And as you can see, some of it is already blowing away. And what this does, especially with the burlap, it's a thinner material. So you could sit and almost heat emboss all of that embossing powder from the bottom. That's a helpful little hint when you're embossing. Try to heat from the bottom. And that will save you a lot of embossing powder. Oh, I have a heat tool, but it, like I said earlier, it was used at a charity retreat and it got left behind, so. All right. Now I can go over the top, set in the rest of my embossing powder. My hair dryer is pretty hot, so it works pretty quickly. Alright. Yeah, I could barely put my hand underneath it. Alright. Now I gotta get rid of all the extra glimmer that's all over the place now. So as you can see, all of our paint, our embossing powder, you can see the pretty shiny finish. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to go over it with the Judykins. We got a pretty good coat with the enamels. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the Vibes and Snowstorm and I'm going to spray over the entire surface. Okay. And this will just add a nice even, the Vibes has almost a opaque finish to it. It has a more heavier finish than a regular mist. So it'll kind of blend all of that rest of our stuff in with each other. You can kind of see that. And if you want to finish off the snowy effect, what we're going to do is we're going to take our fiber paste and you're going to want a palette tool, or you could use like a palette tool or an old card from a gift card or a hotel. I'll go ahead and use the gift card. You just pull into your fiber paste and go off of your canvas. We're going to make this like snowy kind of feel to it. Here's if you use your knife, you get a little different look to it because you can get in the thinner areas. Okay. Fiber paste or molding paste. Molding paste will do the same thing. I like the fiber paste because it has more of a natural texture to it because of the paper fibers that are in it. So I prefer using it, but you can definitely use molding paste. You can use wood putty, same thing. the drywall putty you could get at Home Depot or Lowe's. I just like using the artist mediums just so that I know I'm not hurting the surface I'm working on. Alright, so look at how quick we just took some of that fiber paste around the edge and made a beautiful little frame around our piece. I'm just going to take the excess off. The lid, here's the jar that I'm working with. It's by Golden Artist Mediums. You can find this at Michael's, Aaron Brothers, Dick Blick. I know most of the art supply stores now carry their product, and it's again fiber paste. As I said before, you could also use molding paste. Liquitex makes molding paste as well as Golden, but those are nice texture mediums that if you want to get into the mixed media look, or even if you want to just add, you don't want the whole look, but you want to add some texture to your projects, that's a really fun, those two are really fun products to have on hand. So we have our nice white pretty base, okay? So for those of you who want just a nice white natural look, this would be kind of your stopping point. You can write your little sentiment over here if you'd like, but I want to go ahead and take it to the next step and give you some color. So what we're going to do is we are now going to take the Jacquard Luminaire paint. Okay, this is a heavier paint. Okay, it's got a nice glimmer to it. It's really pretty. And I'm just going to take my paintbrush, make sure it's rinsed off from our last one. Now, a little crafting tip. I use towel, a dish towel. I used to use a lot of paper towel, okay? A lot. And that's when I've decided that I can't use it anymore. It's just too much, okay? So I use a dish towel. I'll wash it once in a while with, you know, the dog's bedding or just regular towel run. It doesn't matter. I prefer not to go through so much paper towel. So all I'm doing is taking this paint and I'm going over my leaves and such. Okay. So I'm applying the paint. And this is also adding texture to our bits and pieces as well. Kind of, this will dry with a, it won't flatten out. It'll kind of hold its texture if you add it in layers, which is a really cool thing. Okay. All right. Painting the roses green. Who would have thunk it, right? You can do it heavier in spots, thinner in others. And as you can see, it's covering all of my different mediums, my burlap, or not my burlap, my felt flowers, my paper flowers, my buttons. It covers all of those different pieces, even my little gems up top. Okay. Yep, we're just covering them all. And again, this is only if you want to add color. I kind of gave you the more shabby look with just the white and the off-white. And now we're kind of just adding color in. You could, of course, add different colors into here if you'd like. I'm just kind of keeping it green, like the tree. But it's all about preference. And I just want to give you the techniques and ideas. And you guys feel free to use them in your own creative ways. That's why we're here with Live with Prima, is to help you, give you ideas on how to use your Prima products in different ways. Okay, I think we're pretty good. Because I'm also going to add some of our little inks too. All right. So we now have our PW pearlescent inks. And what I'm going to do is I am going to fill the dropper. These come with a little dropper, which is really nice. And I'm just going to make little pools here and there. Doesn't matter because I am kind of going to get a little messy with this. Going to take it around the edge where I might have missed some. These inks right here are really fun to use if you like that splatter technique that you see on projects. This would be the art medium to use to get a really nice effect since it also already comes with the dauber. Okay, I'm filling in some of our little roses. Okay. All right. Okay, look at that. See if I can get you guys a close-up. Now, if you wanted to spread your paints out a little bit, kind of blend them in more. It's hard to see on here. What you could do is you could go ahead and spray it with water, and it'll kind of get that paint to bleed a little bit more. Where is my water bottle? Here it is. Let's take this. And all those little fine edges, instead of spraying this and getting paint everywhere, just kind of spray it with water just a little bit. You don't want to saturate it because you could see some of my paints are kind of bleeding onto my burlap. It won't be too noticeable because the burlap's so dark, but if you go ahead and spray that with water, it'll help those paints spread out a little bit. So once you have your paints down, your layers of paints, go ahead and just take a little bit of water. Stop. Spray over the top of them, and it'll help that paint bleed out and fill in your empty spaces. Alrighty. So that's basically what I did for the tree and our outline. Now for our wording, you can put any word you like. And what I like about the Sharpie paint pens is it has a really solid tip. It will write on pretty much anything. This one's an oil-based paint pen. The water-based will work as well. All you would have to do is write whatever you'd like. And then I fill in my open spaces. Let me show you. It's hard to write it upside down. I'll write something. But what I did is I wrote it in, and I left little bubbles at the ends of my words. I went back in and wrote them in. And then I filled them in with another contrasting paint pen to help add a little more color to it. Okay. And let me go ahead and turn this upside down. And if you don't want to write, again, like Carrie's saying, you could use the Prima letters. You could use your chipboard letters, whatever you have on hand if you don't feel comfortable writing something. So you know what? I don't have a lot of room, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it this way. I'm just going to write Merry. Let me get my pen started. Merry Christmas, one and all. I think this one's out. It is a dead soldier. Let's see. Here's a good guy. Here's another one. Here's just a regular Sharpie bullet tip pen. This will work as well. So we're just going to go Merry Christmas. And then I'm going to go back in and make my little loops at the ends of my letters. I can even do the M and the E, just like that. Go down here and do my Y, and then come over here and do Christmas. Alright. Make my little loops. Here and there. Let's see. I don't have a lot on this one, but that's okay. Okay, so we have our Merry Christmas. And now I'm going to go in with my yellow pen. Actually, let's do red on this one. Take our red pen. Haven't even opened this bad boy. Oh wait, I have another one open. We'll use this one. Excuse me. Hope I didn't shake you guys too much. Okay. And I'm just going to go in and fill in those little spots. Now if you don't have the paint pens, you can use a regular acrylic pen with your paintbrush. These are handy, and especially if you're just starting out using acrylic paints and you're not quite sure you want the mess, you can always use these paint pens to add color to your projects. Or you can use your chalk inks or your regular inks or your pan pastels. There's so many different options now to get color onto your pieces. So here is our finished project. Oh, you know what I also did was I added some bling to it. So let's open the box of bling. Ooh, and find some goodies. Let's see. We want kind of shiny, pretty ones, yeah? Could you imagine doing like 4 or 5 of these projects even before Christmas and handing them out, and people will just love that you gave them a handmade gift and, you know, put some thought into it and gave them something unique. Okay, I have these ones. They're shiny, but they're not the right color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my alcohol inks. I have alcohol ink in, let's see, Meadow. And what we're just going to do is take my little gems and go right over the top of them. Got a little too much on that one, but that's okay. You just go right over the top of them. You don't have to squeeze. The tip kind of bleeds it out for you. Just going to do this one row. I'm going to dab some off of that one because there's a lot. Nothing like a little alcohol ink. Haha. Okay. Let's dab some off of here. I just wanted them the same tone as what the rest of the project was. So I'm just going to pull these guys off. Kind of put them in the corners here and there. Just to add a little sparkle to the life. And put them on our tree. If your paint's still wet, you can put them straight on there and they won't go anywhere once the paint dries. They'll dry in the paint. Put a couple down here. The fiber paste, I will tell you, takes a few hours to dry. I'm still playing with it, but it's wet. You will want to give it a few hours if you have to take it anywhere. You're going to want to know that. It will take a few hours. You can speed it up with a heat gun, but most of the time the underneath is still going to be wet, so I would be careful. Okay. A couple more. All right. Okay. I think that's it, you guys. How was it? A good one? Was it a good one? Okay. Ha ha. Alrighty. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. Here's the original. And like I said, I took the same techniques and just gave them a little different twist to each one, so they're unique and different and individual. Okay. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to check out Prima's Facebook page about the giveaway for the art venture, as well as all the art venture information. There's a really cute video on there that has some pics of the location and the amenities for the retreat as well. So you don't want to miss out on that. If you want to go straight to the registration location, go ahead and go to www.regonline.com/Prima event, and that will take you to the location to sign up for the event itself. We're going to have a lot of awesome teachers as well as make and takes. We have Lisa Gibbons there to reveal her brand new lines with Prima and her reasonings behind her lines, what inspires her and everything. So you want to make sure you just come and join us. It's going to be a fun weekend. And I think that's it. Let me stop recording.